What's going on? It's the Rap Nerd, and we are only a few days away from Halloween, so I figure this is a perfect time to show you my love for Halloween 1978. This is one of those videos why I love Halloween.
RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.
So you got the t-shirt, and what better way to do it? We had a new movie, Halloween Kills, that came out earlier, so I'm like, it's just perfect. Everything just works out. So before I actually get to the movie, I'm gonna give you a little bit of story time. So as a kid, right, it stems from the holiday Halloween. Ever since I was a kid, like I just said, I've loved Halloween. I mean, the idea of dressing up like your favorite character and going door to door to get free candy, sign me up. Love this time of year. I love the decorations, love the pumpkins, love the jack-o'-lanterns. I love the autumn leaves changing colors. I'm a fall baby, born in 27, so that probably has something to do with it. But it stems from the holiday. Always loved it, right? So being introduced to horror as a kid through Goosebumps and like Are You Afraid of the Dark. As I got older, started to learn a little bit more about horror. Not to mention my dad said my name, Jason, came from Jason Voorhees, so that already stuck with me. And I knew about Jason Voorhees, liked it from what I did get to see. And as I got older, I started watching more of the movies. And didn't know about Halloween, Michael Myers, none of that, until maybe about 6th or 5th grade. I forgot which grade it was, but I was young. And you know, when it's Halloween season, all of these channels are playing Halloween movies, horror movies, all the time, right? So the first movie that I was the first movie I saw that brought me into the franchise was The Curse of Michael Myers, which is Halloween 4. And I remember seeing that movie and I was like, oh, this dude is kind of like Jason, but it just takes place during Halloween. Like the decorations are there, it's got trick-or-treating, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, this is like a horror movie infused with my favorite holiday. Sign me up. I love it. And from there, that point on, you know, I ended up seeing more of the movies as I aged. And it's funny because when I was younger, the first one was kind of like my least favorite because in my eyes back then, it wasn't as flashy as all the other ones. And anybody who knows the franchise can contest to that's what makes the first one so good, because of the lack of being overly flashy. It's just really good cinema, and it's just practical. So that's where it derived from. And then, like I said, as the years kept going on, I fell in love with the first one. More and more, I watched it. Every single year I watched it, and I'm just like, this movie is fantastic. And now, in my age, you know, where I'm at now, and then being a filmmaker myself, it's just so much about the first Halloween that I love. I'll start with, you know, I guess the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. Michael, in my opinion, is the best slasher because, like I said, he's similar to Jason, but Jason is very expressive with his movement. Like if you see him walking, you see him going like, you know, he has his shoulders moving, you know, when he might be panting hard, you can see him breathing like. So while he doesn't say anything, his body language is very expressive. So Michael is not that, you know. Michael is literally the absence of anything. He walks regular, even when he moves, it's real stiff and just robotic. Stab somebody, it's all of that, grab your head. It's nothing flashy about the way Michael Myers moves. And I think that paired with his face, you know, the mask being, you know, expressionless, it just does something different, because it's kind of like it allows the viewer to kind of put themselves in Michael's shoes, to kind of think about what is he feeling, like, you know, like during these killings, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that you don't get with any other killer, because all the other ones are expressive in some way, but Michael is he's just there doing his thing, not saying anything, not doing any quick movement and all of that. So off the rip, Michael is just the best in my opinion for there. And then another thing I like about Michael Myers is it's probably one of the only horror movies of, like, of course, the big five, you know, of the Mount Rushmore / adding a face to Mount Rushmore. He's the only character out of these horror legends that perfectly combines the camp and the seriousness. Because, you know, with Jason and who else? And Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy, their kills are so over the top. It's like, it's definitely campy. Like when you see them kill people, it's just kind of like laughable because it's so extreme. You don't take it serious. And on the other end of that, you know, you have Leatherface, his kills are very brutal, very violent. They feel real, and it's almost like when he does it, nothing about it is funny. His movies aren't funny. Like they're dead ass serious, terrifying, And then Chucky kind of falls on the camp side, but it's camp. His kills are campy or serious, but because he's a doll doing it, it adds a certain level of camp to it, so it kind of fits in that structure. But Michael, his kills can be over the top, but they're framed in a way that makes it feel dangerous and you feel it. Like, for instance, Halloween 4, like when, better example, Halloween 1978, I'll use that. When he stabs the dude in the wall, he just literally just hung up. That's like over the top. Like that is 100% camp, but it's not played for laughs. And I think that's what makes the kills different in these Halloween movies than anything else. Yes, they're extreme, but they're not framed or presented in a way that's laughable. And I just really love that. So it kind of makes the people conflicted. The audience is conflicted when they see it. It's kind of like, no one's laughing. Oh, that was kind of crazy. So I love that aspect of it. And then those two are the main things. I'm about to get into the filmmaking of the film now, and why 1978 is so good, and why I hold it to such a high place, and why it's my favorite horror movie of all time. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 10. This movie, in my opinion, is just good old filmmaking. It's no tricks. It's no complex, overly complex things going on with the movie. It is just good old filmmaking. It's proof that minimalism and accuracy can work from time to time, because this movie was shot for $300,000 back in '78. And if you look at that now, you probably could reshoot the entirety of 1978 Halloween on a phone and probably get similar quality. For them, they're free, but there's a reason why no movie looks as good, feels as good, sounds as good as Halloween. It's just the minimal effort. It's not minimal efforts. It's the small details, the small minimalism that makes up the large picture. The tracking shots, the wide shots, the use of lighting. For example, there's some of the best shots ever in this movie. Like, we all know that shot with Laurie, against the wall, and you just see Michael Myers' face just pop up. Like, that is brilliant lighting to be able to get that. And there's even more. Like, one of my other favorite shots is this wide shot of the house, and you just see Michael Myers' silhouette, tiny, just sitting there, and the wind is blowing. That, when the wind is blowing in the clothesline, and you see him through the white sheets and all of that, it's just so many small intricacies that make the large picture so wonderful, man. I think the script, like I said, it's streamlined. It's not overly complex. I think that it's one of the few movies that doesn't offer any real answers to anything, but it still works. Like, if you think about it, the first movie doesn't give you any type of connectivity as to why Michael is doing this. We don't learn until the second movie that they're supposedly brother and sister. But the first one doesn't give anything. And I think it's done so well because of the execution. It's the script being streamlined, because you have a character like Loomis trying to figure out why Michael is this way. He's saying he's just pure evil. He doesn't know why. I look in his eyes and it's black. I don't see anything. It's void of anything. Like, I don't know why he's doing this. And it just creates this mystery about Michael. Like, why is he killing people? Why, if you see throughout the movie, he's just killing random people. And he just so happens to go after Laurie at the end. And movies do that now, don't offer explanations, and they end up being a train wreck. This one works. Another thing about this movie, again with the minimalism, it's the music. Like, it's all of this came from a keyboard, but yet it's so effective. It proves that you don't need to have a big band. You don't need to have the best technology. You don't need to have a big engineer studio to make an effective theme. We all know that theme. We all know that. Opera tone under it, it just blows the room up. And then you got the rest of the score with just even more minimal keys, like or even the chasing. doo doo. These are all small things that make up the big picture. And every time I watch this movie, I'm just like, this is so fucking good because it just feeds me as an up and coming filmmaker. Well, I'm a filmmaker, but like an up and coming, like I don't have a budget, and it's just I see the shots and I see everything, and I'm like, I can do that. I just have to be precise as possible. Like the jump scares in this film, I've seen this movie multiple times, and I still get got by the jump scares. When Michael rushes out of the kitchen to stab old boy, or when the plate comes through the window when Loomis is in the old house, or when Mike smashes his hand. There's so many things that still hold up to this day. You know, when you sit down and just plot out what you want to do, you can do a lot with a little bit. And to me, Halloween 1978 is always a reminder to me of that. You can do a lot with a little bit. May not have everything, but as long as you got a camera, you can make it work however you can. And it stands the test of time. It's still fantastic. Still a great movie. I can't sing my praises about this film enough. I love it. I even watch it outside of Halloween just to get extra tips on filmmaking. This is a filmmaker's movie. It's just what you can do with a film. Are there some flaws to it? Yeah, some of the acting isn't the greatest. Some of the story again not having a real explanation. It's not that's quote unquote a plot. But guess what? It's directed masterfully, and the acting that does go on is done masterfully. Laurie built a Laurie. I call her Laurie. That's her name because I just associate her with the character. Jamie Lee Curtis built a career off of this movie, so that says enough as it is. And again, the last thing before I get out of here, it's one reason why I love Halloween Kills so much, because to me, Halloween Kills is a love letter to the first one. It just takes this one idea from this movie of Michael being around and just shows how mythic that night was, not only for Laurie but for everybody. Michael is a myth in here. And at this point in 2021, Michael is mythology. He's modern day mythology, and I'm just so happy to see him given that kind of respect in Halloween Kills. People fear him. The town was crazy because of him. And I can't say anything else, man. I love Halloween. I'm about to go watch it in a second, and let me know what your favorite Halloweens are below. I'm gonna do another video ranking them and kind of giving a little bit more in depth about each movie, because this is my favorite franchise of everything. Like in horror, in films in general, there's not a film in the franchise that I do not like. And it's just crazy how something started in '78 and here we are again in 2021 still making movies. That just shows how great the first one was, because there's just so many branches you can go, so many different timelines, and I just love it. Love it. So, hope you guys have a happy Halloween. Hope your October's been well. Get your jackets out because it's kind of cool here. And until next time, peace.